I'm Dick Reavis, the author of The Ashes of Waco, which is still in print 25 years after its first publication, and is more or less the primer on what happened. On roughly February the 29th, or maybe exactly, I was working for the Dallas Observer, an alternative weekly, and we had an editorial meeting. And because I was almost the only Texan there and the most redneck of the two of us, they told me they wanted me to go to Waco and find out what had happened. So I came down here, and the only source of information were the ATF and FBI press conferences. And there were more than 100 reporters, counting the TV media. And they would go to a press conference every day, and whatever the government said, that was news. They had no access to the people who had come out of Mount Carmel. A reporter friend of mine from the Star-Telegram tried to do better. She found some of the Rodenites, or some of the Davidians who were Davidians before David Koresh. And they gave her a pamphlet that explained their beliefs. And she was sitting in my living room one night and she said, "Those people are crazy." And I said, "Well, there are 150 of them. They can't all be crazy." And she reached in her purse and threw the pamphlet at me. And she said, "There, look at that. You will see they're crazy." So the next day I looked at it, and I didn't understand a word of it. It was all about Revelation and obscure passages of the Bible. And I said, these people understand it. They have a background I don't have. And so I realized that if I was going to do anything about the story, I would have to learn the theology. Well, when the place burned down, all the press left Waco. And I received a call from a reporter at Soldier of Fortune magazine. And he said all of the people who survived and are out of jail are in one hotel in Waco. So I came down. They wouldn't talk to me. So I sat down. I knew they didn't have cars because the FBI had flattened their cars. So I sat in the lobby and offered them rides. And after 2 or 3 days, they started talking to me. And I heard a story I had not heard during the 51-day siege. And I said, somebody's got to find out what happened here, and all the press is gone except for me. So I told my editor, and he put me in touch with the owner of the chain that owned the Dallas Observer. And I said, look, this is going to take 6 months to a year to figure out, but people in Dallas are interested. Assign me to do it. He wouldn't do it. So I had already done a couple of books, 3 maybe. I knew how to get a book contract. I got one and started working the subject. And the first thing I did was put myself in contact with Livingstone Fagan, the best surviving theologian among the bunch. And he called me every Saturday from jail, called me collect, told me what scriptures I needed to read next, and we discussed the ones I had read the week before. This went on for months before I could make heads or tails out of the pamphlet that had been thrown at me, or of the events as they happened.